Time to learn English. English lessons for grade 7 with Teacher May.
Today is the day, your day to learn and discover more about English. Hello, hi, good day to everyone. Welcome to our English class. My name is Teacher May from Upper Bicutan National High School, bringing you another video that will help you to easily understand your lessons in English 7. So what are we waiting for? Let's start our day right as you will learn one of the most exciting grammar lessons in English. Our lesson for week number 3 is about active and passive voice. And at the end of this video lesson, you should be able to use active and passive voice meaningfully in varied contexts. And for you to be able to do that or to learn that, there are some skills that you are required to attain. Number 1, you have to know what a sentence is, locating the subject, the verb, and the predicate. Second, you have to learn as well the difference between regular and irregular verbs, their principal parts or form. And lastly, it is also important for you to be familiar with transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, and direct object. It seems too many terms, right? Don't worry, all you need to have is focus and diligence for you to comprehend all this. And I promise you, learning all this is very rewarding and fulfilling. Let's start! Let's test your prior knowledge about a sentence. Among these groups of words, which do you think is a sentence? Letter A. A Stray Kids backdoor music video has reached 65 million views on YouTube. Letter B. The cell phone on top of the table. Letter C. Yuna, who is the youngest member of the group. So what is your answer? Correct! Letter A. A Stray Kids backdoor music video reached 65 million views on YouTube. And what made you say that that is an example of a sentence? What do you think is a quality or a characteristic of a sentence? Okay, let's check its definition.
Sentence is a group of words that expresses a complete thought. A sentence contains a subject, which is the topic, and a predicate, which is the information of the subject. The first word of the predicate is called verb. Verb plays a very important role in our sentence. Verbs come from the Latin word verbum, meaning to convey action. A verb can be regular or irregular. If you are one of my students, one of my requirements is memorizing the principal parts of irregular verbs, because irregular verbs form their past and past participle form in different ways. Most of them change spelling as we form their past and past participle. These are the examples of irregular verbs from A to W. Notice how most of them change spelling as we form their past and past participle. Therefore, memorizing them is a must. Verbs in the first column are what we use in sentences in the present tense. Verbs in the second column are for sentences in past tense. And verbs in the last are used for perfect tenses and for sentences in passive voice. Assuming that you have already memorized the principal parts of irregular verbs, all verbs which are not included in the list are examples of regular verbs. Regular verbs form their past and past participle forms by adding t or ed. Let's use paint as an example. Paint is not included in the list of irregular verbs, right? Therefore, that is an example of regular verbs. We can get its past and past participle form by adding ed. Let's have a short activity. Tell whether the given verb is a regular or an irregular verb. Then, give its present form, past form, and past participle form. You may pause the video so you can have time thinking for your answers. These are the answers.
And now that you have already made yourselves familiar with the principal parts of regular and irregular verbs, let's now talk about the transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. Your regular and irregular verbs can be used as transitive or intransitive verbs in the sentences. Identifying a verb if it is used as transitive or intransitive verb, you have to know about the rec object.
A regular and an irregular verb is used as transitive verb if it has the direct object that receives the action. The direct object can be a noun or pronoun. Let's use this as an example. Jen ate the cheese. The subject of this sentence is Jen, and the verb is ate. What type of verb is ate? Is it a regular verb or an irregular verb? Correct. It is an irregular verb. This verb can be transitive or intransitive. Like I said earlier, it is transitive if it has the direct object that receives the action. The direct object answers the question what or who. Let us use the question word what. What did Jen eat? Is there an answer to the question? Correct. It is the cheese. Therefore, the cheese is your direct object, and ate, which is an irregular verb, is used as a transitive verb. If transitive verb needs direct object that receives the action, intransitive verb does not need direct object. For example, Roxanne danced gracefully. Our subject here in the sentence is Roxanne, and our verb is danced, and that is used as intransitive verb for it does not have a direct object or a noun or pronoun that receives that action. Let's have an application again. Tell whether the underlined verb is a transitive or an intransitive. Number 1 is a transitive verb because of the words a new car. A new car is the direct object that receives the action bought. Number 2 is also a transitive verb because it has direct object, which is her assignment. It answers the question, what did she finish on time? Her assignment. Number 3 is an intransitive verb because it doesn't have direct object or any noun or pronoun that receives the action taught.
Now that we're done discussing about the sentence, locating its subject, a verb, and a predicate, discussing about the principal parts of regular and irregular verbs, and differentiating transitive, intransitive, and direct object, I think you're now ready to discuss the active and passive voice. Voice is the quality of the verb that tells whether the subject is a doer or the receiver of the action. In most English sentences with an action verb, the subject is the doer of the action denoted by the verb. In that case, the sentences are in the active voice.
These are the examples of the sentences in which the subjects are doing the verb's action, therefore in the active voice. Number 1, Abby washes the dishes. This sentence is in the active voice because your subject, which is Abby, does the action washes. Number 2, Bob painted the wall. This is again an example of a sentence in the active voice because your subject, who is Bob, is the one who acted upon the verb painted, therefore in the active voice. On the other hand, if the subject of the sentence is the receiver of the action, the sentence is said to be in the passive voice. The dishes are washed by Abby. This time, your subject, which is the dishes, is not the doer of the action washed. Instead, it is the receiver of the action washed. Now let's check if you have understood it. Tell whether the sentence is in the active or in the passive voice. Again, if the subject is the one who does the action, active voice. And if the subject is the one receiving the action, passive voice.
And now I will be teaching you how we can change your sentence from active voice to passive voice. But remember this, we can only change a sentence in the active voice to passive voice if the sentence has direct object. So what is direct object again? Direct object is the receiver of the action and it answers the question what or who.
Let's use this as an example. Jillian sells banana cakes. Can this be changed to passive voice? Let's check if it has direct object. Jillian is your subject, and it does the action sells. Let's try to use the question word what. What does Jillian sell? Banana cakes. Since there is an answer to that question what, and there is a word that receives the action sell, meaning the sentence has direct object, and that is banana cakes. We can transform this active voice to passive voice. In changing active voice to passive voice, we have to make your direct object in the active voice as your subject of your passive voice. Next, we need helping verbs. These are the choices of helping verbs if your verb in the active voice is only one word. For present, we have is for singular subject and are for plural. For past tense, we have was for singular subject and were for a plural subject. Sell is one of the irregular verbs, right? And its principal parts are the following. Where is the irregular verb sell placed in the given principal parts? Correct, in the present tense. Therefore, the helping verb that we need is in the present tense. It's now either is or are. And for us to know what is the correct helping verb between the two, we have to check whether our subject in the passive voice is only one in number, or singular, or more than one in number, plural. Banana cakes, how many is that in number? Singular or plural? Correct, plural. Therefore, what we need is are. Next, we have to get the past participle form of the irregular verb sell. And the past participle form of it is sold. Last step is to place the doer of the action into a phrase beginning with a preposition by. And now we have a sentence in the passive voice. Banana cakes are sold by Jillian. Let's try another example. Some of my classmates have violated the rules. Let's check again if it has direct object so we can change this to passive voice. Our subject is some of my classmates. Our verb is have violated. And we have the rules. Have violated what? The rules. Therefore, we have direct object. Let the direct object be our subject in our passive voice. We need a helping verb after that. And to know what is the appropriate helping verb to use, we have to check our verb in the active voice. Our verb in our active voice is have violated. And this is a verb phrase because it consists of more than one word. In this case, here are the choices of the helping verbs. For present singular, we have has been. Present plural, we have been. For past singular and past plural, we have had been. Here are the principal parts of the irregular verb have. has or have for the present tense, had for the past tense, and had for the past participle. Since have is in the present tense, our choices will be between has been or have been. And for us again to get a correct answer, we need to identify if our subject in the passive voice is singular, one in number, or plural, more than one in number. The rules with S is plural, more than one in number. And the present plural verb is have been. That just copy the main verb of the active voice, which is violated. And now we have the rules have been violated. Then add the doer of the action in the active voice into a phrase beginning with a preposition by. Then we have a sentence in passive voice. The rules have been violated by some of my classmates. Let us have an activity. Change the following sentences in active voice into passive voice. You may again pause the video while contemplating your answers. This time, I will teach you how you can change your sentences in passive voice to active voice. Example, my pillowcase was changed by Erica. Do you remember the definition of active voice? The sentence is said to be in the active voice if the subject is the doer of the action. So let us get the one who did the action changed. And that is Erica. Very good. Next, look at your helping verb. Your helping verb is was, and that is in the past tense because is and are present tense, was and were past tense. If your helping verb is in the present tense, you need to get a present tense form of your main verb, changed. On the other hand, if your helping verb is in the past tense, you need to get the past tense form of your main verb. Our helping verb was is in the past tense, so we shall get the past tense of change. Here are the principal parts of the regular verb change. Let's get the past tense of change, and the past tense of change is changed with D. So now we have Erica changed what? We need the direct object, and that is my pillowcase. And now we have the sentence in active voice. Erica changed my pillowcase. Next example. Our food is eaten by the cat. Let's use the cat as the subject of our active voice, since the cat is a doer of the action eaten. Then look at your helping verb. The helping verb is, and that is in the present tense, meaning we have to change your main verb eaten into its present tense. So here are the principal parts of the irregular verb eaten. Again, we need to get the present tense of eaten because our helping verb is in the present tense. We have eat for plural subject and eats for singular subject. Our subject is cat. And how many is cat in number? Correct, singular. Therefore, what we need to use is eats with S. And now we have the cat eats what? Very good. Our food. The cat eats our food. And now we have the sentence in active voice. Let's have the last activity. Change the following sentences in passive voice to active voice.
Now we are done. Thank you for being with me for more than 20 minutes. Let's see each other again next time, and please do not forget to hit like and subscribe for more video lessons in English 7. Goodbye!